Next exercise. Exercise number 2. This is a continuation of 8 on a hand. We're still using multiple stroke. The exact same motions apply. But now we're going to combine the hands together, alternating, to play alternating 16th notes. So one measure is 8th notes, all right hand, and then you add the left hand in to create 16th notes. I'll demonstrate once. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? Now, notice that when we play alternating single strokes like this, each hand is doing the exact same motion that you were doing in 8 on a hand, just continuous multiple strokes. But to play 16th notes, we've got to offset and alternate them. Now, this is where the switch stroke motion comes into play. I'll demonstrate it this way. Switch stroke. Remember, I did that in the lesson on switch stroke. Down, they're just trading places. Notice my stick heights are the same, stick paths the same, nice smooth alternation. So you have to practice that coordination. This exercise number 2 is really good to help you realize that the leading hand, which we're going to start with the right hand, never changes. It plays 8th notes all the way through the exercise. The left hand joins in on the E and U counts, playing in between the right hand, and then stops. Then joins back in, and then stops. Let's do it again. Do this together with me. I'm going to slow the metronome down a little bit. Sometimes this is a little fast if you've never done it before, so let's take the clicks down. We're going to go down to 80 beats a minute, which is a lot slower. So nice and smooth motion, and work on playing those great alternating single strokes. 1 and 2 and ready, play. I'll stop there. Okay? Hopefully that's clear and you can see how those motions work together. Let's do the same thing starting with the left hand. Also, let me make note that when you look at the music, the written music for this exercise, when you look at the written music for the exercise, when it repeats, it stays on the right hand. So it repeats over and over and over and over and over again. Some people look and they see right hand lead. Then when you repeat, there's another line that shows the left hand lead. Well, it's not like verses of a song in this particular case. You just work on the right hand version, stop. Now let's work on the left hand version. Leading with the left hand. 1, 2, 3, go. Stop there. Now that slow tempo, you really got to concentrate and stay right with the metronome. I mean, it's easy. I have to really concentrate, pull back, make sure I don't rush and get ahead. Let's try each one of those versions once more, a little bit faster. We're going to take it back up to 100 beats a minute. Okay, right hand lead. Nice and smooth. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And stop. Okay? Nice and smooth. Keep those stick heights even. Keep those hands flowing. Hold on to the sticks. Left hand version. Here we go. 2, 1, 2, ready, and. Stop there. Now, there are a couple of, when I do this exercise for the first time with students, there are some, common mistakes that are the favorite ones. And one I think warrants pointing out to you and helping you with, because you may be having a problem with this. Getting the resting, so let's go back to the right hand lead. If we're leading with the right hand, bringing the left hand in is sometimes difficult for people. And it has to do with moving the left hand up at the right time. Sometimes people will get this. It's like their left hand's not ready to go. You got to lift it up in advance and make it really smooth. Something you can do to practice this is just play the first 2 16th notes like this. Now, let's just play 4 8th notes and 2 16th notes and isolate that motion like this. 3 and 4 and 1 E. Watch how my left hand does that float stroke motion. You can do the same thing with the left hand. Then add more 16th notes. Practicing to get that new hand to come in and look really sharp. Keep practicing that one. Work at different speeds and different metronome markings. Okay. Now, on the printed music for this exercise, you'll see that there are the sticking markings underneath the notes. There are 3 variations. There's the right hand lead variation and the left hand lead variation. We've done both of those. The third variation uses alternate sticking for the 8th notes and the 16th notes. Now, this variation is significant because it allows us to practice changing from an accent style motion during the 8th notes to the multiple stroke style motion in the 16th notes. Let me explain that in a little more detail. If I'm playing alternating 16th notes like this, each 8th note, or each hand is playing the equivalent of 8 notes. The right hand, for instance, 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the stick is moving fast enough that we move in a continuous multiple stroke style motion. Well, if I alternate the 8th notes like this, each hand is now playing the equivalent of quarter notes. For instance, the right hand is playing 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Well, those notes are so far apart that I actually move back towards the float stroke, accent stroke style motion. Notice. It's still very smooth, fluid and smooth, but it's different than the multiple stroke. So if I take just the right hand and play this third variation, the right hand plays a measure of quarter notes and a measure of 8th notes. Now the left hand does the same in between the right hand. So the right hand motion looks like this. Now that exercise is the clearest illustration of the 2 motion vocabulary drumming words that we're using to play these exercises. The accent style stroke and the multiple stroke motion. So when I put the hands together, it looks like this. Now, why would I use those motions? Well, for me and for so many drummers, it's just the most logical, relaxed, fluid way to move your sticks. How else would I do it? I suppose I could try to do this. What am I going to do with all that extra time on my hands during the eighth notes when each hand only plays once per quarter note? Well, that's where that accent style float stroke motion serves you so well. This variation of exercise number 2 is where you can practice changing back and forth between these two. So here's what we're going to do together. Let's play one hand at a time, a measure of quarter notes and a measure of eighth notes. Let's do that on the right hand, then we'll do it on the left. Then we'll put the hands together to play the exercise. So right hand only, a measure of quarter notes and a measure of eighth notes. 1, 2, ready, go. Accent, 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 multiple. Accent, 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 multiple. And stop. See how that works? Let's do it on the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Accent, 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 multiple. Accent, 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 multiple. Stop. Make sense? Now, those two motions and being in control of the sticks that way, as we advance further into more difficult drumming, I'll continue to point out why those two motions will help you in your drumming. And so many times you watch less advanced players, and it's as though they don't know what to do with their sticks. In between strokes, their sticks are kind of floating around. Sometimes it'll look something like this. They don't know what to do with their hands. So this spells it out. Let's play exercise number 2. Third sticking variation, both hands together. We have the accent style motion in the first measure, multiple stroke style motion in the second measure. 1, 2, ready, go. Now, if you watch my sticks as I play that exercise, the transition between the eighth notes and the 16th notes contains this lifting motion as you transition into the multiple stroke exercise, or multiple stroke motion for measure 2. And we're going to encounter that lifting motion again in a lot of different situations. So practice that exercise. Copy my motion. Make your sticks move exactly like mine. Do it over and over and over again. Go slower, go faster. Just work your hands and be able to play those smooth 16th note, 8th note patterns perfectly.